Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. Everything is awesome when you're living a dream. Yeah, everything is awesome in the Lego movie. The first Lego movie, I gotta say that I really love this movie. And I have it on my PlayStation 4, and man, that I even love it till yeah, up to today. I do remember that I watched it 3 times in the movie theaters because let's face it, the Lego Movie is it's a great film. It's a great film, even though it's about, well, Legos. I did play a share fair Legos when I was a kid, I gotta admit. Never thought in my life that Legos was gonna be that big to become technically its own franchise of multimedia stuff. I mean, video games, there's even an amusement park. Whew, wow. But anyway, the reason we're here is mostly because I just came from watching the Lego Movie Part 2. I was anticipating that film, considering that, like I said, I really loved the first one. I don't actually like the other movies. I mean, the Lego Batman movie, I absolutely love it. I don't think that people don't appreciate it as much as I heard, but come on, it's the Lego Batman movie. Technically because it has Batman, and Batman is one of my favorite superheroes. But also there is the Lego Ninjago film that I gotta admit, it was so-so. I'm not gonna say that it's a bad movie, but it wasn't as big or great as, well, both the Lego movie and the Lego Batman movie. And obviously when something is popular, they go along with a sequel. Personally, I thought that the Lego movie didn't need a sequel, but I was still open for it. And here we go. I just came and watched it, and I absolutely like it. I really like it. I'll say that it suffers a little bit of the sequelitis thing, in which it's not gonna be as great like the first movie did, because that was kind of like wanting for lightning to strike in the same place. But still, I'll say this: this was really good. I absolutely recommend it to you. So if you really like the Lego Movie Part 2, if you really like the Lego Movie, go watch Lego Movie Part 2, because it's still a really fun film if you like the things, well, Lego and well, the things about the Lego Movie. But anyway, here is a little bit of a proper review of the Lego Movie Part 2, which again is a direct sequel from the last movie. Considering that the movie, yeah, takes place right after the ending of the first movie, in which, you know, aliens crash land into our beloved town of Legos. Alright, small summary. The Lego Movie, it centers on the adventure of this little construction worker Lego man called Emmett, who was played by Chris Pratt. In the first movie, he was just an ordinary guy until he gets into an adventure where he meets his crush, Wildstyle / Lucy, her real name, played by Elizabeth Banks. He meets Morgan Freeman, and then he goes on a quest because, well, he was trying to stop this Will Arnett, who plays Lord Business, who wants to, well, freeze the world. And, well, he's joined up by a Lego Batman, who is played by Will Arnett, the pink kitty cat named Unikitty, played by, what was the name of the actress? That was the name escapes me. Escapes me. Excuse me a mo. Mom. Excuse me a moment. Alison Brie. Alison Brie. And there's also this robotic pirate called Ironbeard. He's played by, Metalbeard, sorry. Metalbeard, played by Nick Offerman. And this crazy spaceman played by called Benny, played by Charlie Day. But basically, yeah, they saved Emmett saved the world last time. It's shown that everything, all of the adventure was from the imagination from a kid regarding his father, who also is kind of like a fan of Legos too. And, well, if you want a little bit of spoilers, the first movie, because it bears saying for the sake of this movie, it ends up with everything going in peace, and of course he has to also play with his sister, his little sister, the kid imagines that the sister comes in the shape of, well, aliens. And that's where the movie actually picks up. It picks up right after that, in which Emmett tries to make peace with the aliens. But unfortunately, the aliens has a baby mentality. And they wreak havoc, they break into everything, and, well, 5 years later, everything turns dark. Let's say that the city now is in ruins, and now everyone lives kind of like in this Mad Max scenario. And because now they have to play close guard because the aliens might come and ruin their lives and all this stuff. Well, let's say that the only character who didn't hard enough in his personality, all this stuff, is Emmett. Emmett is still the happy-go-lucky, nice character, and is proven because he is the guy who tries to bond with the aliens, and still he still acts like everything is awesome. And and this kind of brings out a little bit of doubts to Lucy, in which they did form a relationship, but she kind of tells him that, Emmett, you're a nice guy and everything, but please, you have to grow up. Please grow up. Everything should be moody, dark, you kind of like, look at this. Unikitty, even instead of being pink, is now red and all this stuff, and all with anger, and everything is. And so technically, yeah, the typical things that you're gonna see in these kind of movies where they think that they are too mature for, well, let's say that the aliens are technically like girlish, sparkly stuff that you're gonna see in girls' toys, or for little kids, nice stuff that you see in these kind of cartoons. And, well, the plot finally advances when they're invaded by this kind of astronautic alien called General Mayhem. What was the name of the actress? She's played by Stephanie Beatrice, who decides to capture Emmett's friends. She captures Lucy, Batman, Unikitty, Metalbeard, and Benny, and so they take them to, well, outer space, in which in the kid's head it is representative to going out of the basement to upstairs and all this stuff to, well. And this technically smells dangerous, especially for Emmett, because Emmett had a vision where he sees, well, the astronaut, a dolphin clock at 5:15, Batman dressed up in white, an ice cream man, and it all ends with Armageddon, or what they call it, Armageddon, I think it was called. And so it is up to Emmett to save his friends before the before the aliens come the aliens do something that is going to bring apocalypse to the Lego world. And well, he's that technically I wish I could stop a little bit on before ruining the movie, but I'll give it my best to not spoil the movie. But I'll say that it does divide it in two plots. Let's say that it divides in the Lucy plot, where they go to the alien planet, which is all sparkly, happy, go lucky. They have pop music, and it's ruled by this shape-shifting creature that can turn into a horse, an octopus, whatever it wants. Her name is Queen whatever. Well, I have it here. Queen whatever wanna be. Played by Tiffany Haddish. And her plan is that she wants to build up a big wedding. She's gonna build a big wedding with a big wedding cake. She's brainwashing everyone. She's brainwashing everyone to be very happy, so that everyone can have their own utopia, in which all the characters they kind of buy it, except for Lucy because she's reluctant. Oh, and by the way, the wedding is between the Queen and Batman. Yes, she wants to marry Batman. And the funny thing is that Batman's like, wait, what? Just a side note is that Batman is, again, my favorite character of the Lego franchise. He's my favorite character. Will Arnett was great. It was great bringing a kind of like a silly side to Batman. And also, I want to say that also by a side note that probably my second favorite character of the Lego movie or / the Lego franchise is probably Unikitty, because I have a soft spot for cats and cute stuff, and she kind of encompasses everything. By the way, yes, I saw a few episodes of the TV series. Very cute, I would say. Very cute. It's cute, the TV series. My only gripe on the TV series is Tara Strong. I'm not saying that she's a bad Batman voice actress. She feels a little bit too Tara Strongish for Unikitty. I just felt that Alison Brie gave out kind of like a better performance for Unikitty. Oh, and just in case, yes, there is a small cameo of her brother Puppycorn in a fantasy sequence. But okay, back to the Lego movie Part 2. I didn't also talk to you about Emmett's side of the story, in which Emmett's story is not only just about rescuing his friends, but trying to find a chance to prove that he can do mature decision. He wants to show that he's grown man, despite that everyone's telling him that, man, dude, you're so naive, you're acting too nice. When you grow up, you have to be tougher, edgier, and all this stuff. And during his quest, he finds out he meets this intergalactic ranger called Rex Dangerfest, who is also voiced by Chris Pratt. And let me tell you that this guy is the Chris Prattiest of all the Chris Pratt performances you can ever see. You know that Chris Pratt is probably regarded as kind of like the next. I think he's considered kind of like the next charismatic action hero. Well, this guy, he's almost everything in it. If you pick up all the movies that he's been in doing his most familiar roles, like Star-Lord, the guy from Jurassic World, and what was any other that has Chris Pratt? I don't remember, but put him in a blender and you get this guy, and that is awesome. He's just so awesome that he even writes a spaceship that is shaped like a fist. and his whole crew is dinosaurs. How awesome is that? Again, he's Star-Lord with the guy from Jurassic World combined into one. Considering that Jurassic World sucks, and Guardians of the Galaxy is probably my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe film there is, that he's such a delight. So they meet. They meet each other. He decides to help Emmett on his quest to save his friends, and of course he's gonna teach him how to be tough, because apparently in his mind, when you're tough, you're gonna also learn how to break stuff like a man. At this point, I think I will stop talking a lot about the plot, but I will mention some little elements that comes into my mind that catches my attention. Because the whole pacing of the movie is indeed entertaining. A little bit of the problem of this movie being a sequel is that sometimes you're gonna feel that it goes into some familiar territories. Although, that honestly I blame more myself, because I've been watching so many movies that almost everything feels kind of predictable, which, again, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, as long as it's well done. I did kind of guess the twist that there was going to be. And there is a twist. And I'll say that the twist is, it doesn't technically involve that, oh my god, this is all in the kid's head. Because we all know it was part of the first movie, and it shows that the movie is about, well, there is a sibling rivalry between a brother and a sister, and how they play, But it also, when you think about it, the biggest theme that this movie has is about how sometimes we think that when we grow up, that means that everything is dark, grim, dark, and everything. And honestly, when I think about it myself, I kind of agree that when we grow up, everything doesn't become, well, like they say, not too awesome. Instead, and we see things a little bit more darker, in a different approach that we feel that we have to harden our hearts. We have to become tough. And I do want to tell you what this movie says. The movie says that, yes, it's easier to make our heart rock solid, but it's much harder to more harder to make it soft. And that is technically a good way to balance it out, to grow up. It shows that when you grow up too much, it kind of also makes you so bitter that you push away other people. And this kind of shows in the relationship between the kid and his sister. And also it shows that even that it doesn't matter that these two have different tastes of styles. I mean, for example, one of the biggest things that it has is that there is the conversation between the Queen and Batman, in which the Queen kind of expressed that she's not into all these gothic scenes and everything. She just like everything, sparkly, pop music-y and all this stuff. And it kind of shows. I also, on a side note, there is a scene that I actually like, in which they go into this kind of quote-unquote really creepy suburban area that kind of looks like the cul-de-sac scene from A Wrinkle in Time, but done much, much better. And in order to brainwash all the characters, they use this pop music that it says that this music is gonna stuck in your head. And it's really catchy. It's really catchy. And you know what? I feel like I want to watch this movie again to have this song stuck in my head. On another side note, I'll also say that probably my favorite joke of the whole movie is when Lucy tries to escape from the vent, she finds Lego Bruce Willis in there. That's actually a great treat. And continuing on with the theme, I gotta admit that I think that this movie, just like the last movie, is kind of a little bit of a talk or a little bit of an understanding to movies, to the society, movie making in a way or another. Let's overanalyze it a little bit. The last movie kind of was a slam to business, to micromanagement, and a little bit of the problem with censorship, in which they try to censor everything and not letting people create wild, wacky stuff, because, well, Lego is all about imagination, because the construction of the imagination. And this movie, it kind of also gives us a little bit of a slam to movies nowadays, in which everything has to be very adult, very grim, very dark, and we have to take everything seriously. Yeah, that was the correct word I was saying. That was the problem that people wanted with Emmett, and they wanted Emmett to grow up and be much more serious. They wanted to take things very, very seriously. And in a way, Emmett, he does take things seriously, but he just approaches with a more kinder innocence, and in which he might sound naive, but that makes him more charismatic. And that kind of also encompasses in contrast with the world of the Mad Max world that they were living with the world of the kid's sister. And technically, that's my initial take on what the Lego Movie Part 2 is trying to say. Even though it is still a Lego movie, it's just there to entertain us, and it shows that it still has the heart of the first movie. It's not just gigantically spectacular like the first one, but I do feel that you're gonna get something very positive from this film, and it's good. I really like the message that it brings, and technically it tries to make me reflect something. And again, I already said that it's okay to take seriously some things, but again, growing up is not exactly well productive in when you're talking about the imagination or the relationship with people that you care in this case. I do also like that there is a plot that also involves Lucy, in which, well, I'm not gonna exactly reveal what I say, but I'll give you kind of two clues. The first of all, it is involved. It has to involve about one being true to yourself, and this is something that we learn about Lucy, that sometimes she's a little bit too insecure in how she looks, what she is, and all this stuff, which kind of leads up to a really big surprise at the very, very end. And the second clue that I'm going to give you is that I have to rewatch the first Lego movie again, but I am sure that Morgan Freeman gave out a hint. I'm not going to say what hint it is, but that hint that he gives out in the first movie actually comes true in the second movie. You will see. I'll let you see it for yourself. And oh yeah, and speaking of climax, it's not kind of like a super gigantic climax, but it's kind of close to that, and it's kind of close to that. But I'll say this, that the climax is also kind of like a slam to the Infinity Wars, and all those, all when you're in the movie 2, there's also these kind of cliffhanger endings. this movie parodies and make a slam out of it. I just kind of applauded that. And well, I think that's it. That's I highly recommend the Lego Movie Part 2 if you really like the Lego franchise. I do love the Lego Movie. Again, I love the Lego Batman movie. I'm okay with Lego Ninjago, even though it was kind of forgettable, except for the cat. And Lego Movie Part 2, I just came out happy. Unfortunately, that happening had to be on hold for a while because I decided to give myself a double feature with another movie. Well, it doesn't matter because I'll say this: Lego Movie Part 2 show us that everything is still awesome.